Your short form scripts would instantly perform better if you avoided the three deadly mistakes. And I know what you're thinking. Short form is all luck. And that's what I also thought too. But over the years, I've unraveled the luck into a clear process that's helped me grow multiple pages, create ads for massive brands, and most importantly, fall in love with the creation process. It's 3 steps from idea to script, then to video. And today we'll focus on the script process so you can start pumping out banger videos. We'll instantly fix your script by covering the 3 deadly mistakes I've embarrassingly made. We'll break down a viral script to analyze its structure, and I'll show you how to analyze your own videos after you post them so you can learn from your wins and losses. So I had a script come across my desk which had all 3 mistakes, and I wanted to show you the tweaks I've made to correct them so you can apply the fixes to a script you're currently working on. Let's start with the hook. Video games are finally landing the jump off consoles and onto the big screen. Now, mistake number 1, long-winded hooks. So the first line of any script is by far the most important for 3 simple reasons. It's the only thing between them watching and them swiping away. It clarifies the value of the video. It's meant to get the viewer off to a hot start to pull them along the video. It should be brief and impactful. Since the short form feed is relatively fast, people's minds are impatient, aka TikTok brain. But I like thinking being fast as respecting their time. So this first line is a mouthful, relatively speaking, but it has one good thing, the first 3 words. In this case, it's video games are. While long-winded, the first 3 words are fine because we named something a massive amount of people will recognize and relate to. Plus, having are as our 3rd word means something is happening to something we love, immediately sparking questions like, what's happening to video games? I play video games, what's happening? But while the first 3 words are fine, the rest leads right into mistake number 2, which is having flat sentences. So what's a flat sentence? A sentence that doesn't make you want to hear the next sentence. In a script, you're only allowed so many flat sentences in a row, which usually provide context, but too much context and people get bored. See what I did there? If we just revisit that sentence I just said, what's a flat sentence, which is our curiosity line, a sentence that doesn't make you want to hear the next sentence, flat but necessary. In a script, you're only allowed so many flat sentences in a row, yada, 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 flat and approaching boredom. And then I had to rehook you again, which is, see what I did there, to do the whole loop. But you can think of short form scripts as Oreos, a single hard layer plus the cream plus another hard layer. The hard layers are the flat lines or context lines, which are necessary, and the cream are curiosity lines. Just having a stack of shells would be gross. That's just context for no reason. And just having the cream would make no sense either because the whole script would just be questions. So your short form script is just tons of Oreos stacked together with different variations of how much cream there is, how many cookies there are, and all that. You're basically providing context, adding curiosity, providing context, and then hooking them in again. It's a beautiful dance, but the script we're working on starts with a flat sentence, which is the total opposite of what a hook is supposed to do. Finally landing the jump off consoles and onto the big screen. Now, we basically opened the curiosity loop by saying video games are, and then immediately closed it by answering it right away, giving no reason for the viewer to listen to the rest of the video, aka a flat sentence, but we can fix this. So let's touch on mistake number 3, not using WIFM. WIFM stands for what's in it for me. Imagine the viewer as the most selfish person in the world, as they should be because time is the most valuable resource. So how do you communicate that you'll make a good trade? So what's the trade for? Now, they give you time in exchange for laughter, insight, information, advice, and so many more complex things. And the first line is your way of communicating that trade, and it doesn't have to be explicit either because we're naturally curious creatures. Just take a look at any good movie. They take you through twists and turns, drama and conflict, and this goes on for 2 hours. If it was explicit, the movie would be 30 seconds where the hero gets what they want and the movie ends. So back to our hook. Video games are finally landing the jump off consoles and onto the big screen. Not a single reason to watch further because all their questions were answered instantly. However, what if we changed it to this? Hollywood movies are doing something we've never seen before. Hollywood movies, a massive subject because it's directly correlated to something that people consume. Tapping into people's natural selfishness because an entertainment source you love could be affected for better or worse. Now, doing something we've never seen before. Now, the viewer sees Hollywood movies, which is the subject, and you've told us that there is change happening. Now, why is change so important? Change is the definition of a good story. Iron Man's character changes from selfish to selfless across the franchise. Manny goes from lone traveler to family man. If there is some sort of transformation taking place, you can bet it'll be a good story. Now you want to run through your script and look for the 3 mistakes. Number 1, no long-winded hooks. Number 2, avoid multiple flat sentences in a row. And number 3, always use with them. So how does this actually convert to the real world? Well, how about we analyze a 15 million view script that generated one of our first clients $2,000 in ad revenue. Now, this is in the gaming news niche, but don't worry, you don't need to understand gaming to understand the lessons we can take from this. So let's take a look at the hook. Call of Duty just got destroyed by GTA. Have you ever wondered why you can't stop looking at a car crash or a fight? It's because we're naturally drawn to drama and conflict. So in 8 words, we understand 2 massive parties are fighting. And it just happened, making it new information. If you don't know the gaming space, think of this as Apple versus Microsoft, Jordan versus LeBron, or even Ferrari versus Lamborghini. Now, this hook alone sparked so many questions for the viewer. What just happened? How did Call of Duty get destroyed? What was the fight about? How did this fight occur? Why did GTA win this fight? If you remember from earlier about communicating the trade effectively, what we've done is exactly that. So this is what we essentially said explicitly. Hey, we got a big fight that just happened between 2 gaming giants you love, and if you want to know what happened, just give us 60 seconds. Okay, now I'm going to hop into Notion to show you the structure between curiosity and context. I'm not going to use any scripting retention techniques or something, so I need you to lock in here, all right? All right, now we're in Notion. We're just going to quickly run through this. So anything in yellow is going to be curiosity lines, so the cookie and the cream we talked about, and the white lines are the context lines or the actual hard part of the cookie. What do they call them? Shells or something? Curiosity line, you provide context. Curiosity line, it got so popular. The question they're asking is, why did it get so popular? Another team of modders launched Project SM2. Okay, what is that? What's SM2? Right, that's the curiosity. This is the question they're trying to answer. Then this is like a double hook sort of. This is sort of a curiosity line and context, which is a bit more advanced, but regardless, we'll just call it a curiosity line. A game that would combine everything great about Call of Duty into one single game. Now, how did they do that? How did they combine everything into one single game? We provide context, right? And then again, curiosity, and all of a sudden, okay, something big happened. This momentum just suddenly stopped. Activision threatened anyone modding their game with lawsuits. Okay, lawsuits are pretty big. These are companies, there's fighting, there's stakes, there's everything on the line right now. And then when a billion-dollar company with the best lawyers in the world say to stop, what do? Right? We obviously stop, right? People stop. SM2 and any future projects were shut down. Now, this is like the second half of the script, or like after the climax, sort of. Now, while all this was happening, Rockstar Games was watching silently. So now this is the second party. This is the second company watching silently. And now it's like, why are they watching silently? What are they doing? Because they had a modding problem of their own. Oh, what kind of modding problem do they have? What are they going to learn from what Call of Duty is doing, right? And then we provide context of what that modding problem is. GTA RP, mod teams called 5M, blah, 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 blah. This is context again. And then we give a massive curiosity line or like a question. It was time for Rockstar to make a choice to either shut down or do the unthinkable. So now in their minds, there's, okay, what's Rockstar going to do? What's going to happen to GTA 5, the game I play, the game I love? What's happening to Call of Duty? I also play this game, etc., right? Everything is, if you tie the WIFM framework, the what's in it for me, this story is directly tied and affects the viewer because they are going to play these games, right? So whatever happens now, they might not be able to play GTA 5 and these modded things, or they might not be able to play Call of Duty with all these throwback and nostalgic weapons and things of such, right? So it's directly affected them, right? Because it's, again, WIFM. You got to remember that everybody is the most selfish person in the world. Okay, now I lost my spot. Right here, do the unthinkable. Rockstar Games brought the modders onto their team. Now this is the final context. This kind of answers the whole story. They could even leave here, but see how we give away the main point towards the end of the video. So if they do decide to leave, it's not going to affect retention all the way. Give them more money to make better content for better servers and bring a better experience to the only people that matter, the players. Now I wanted to end off with a little bit of a feel-good feeling because it's always good to like say, to end off on a high note, like good note, like, oh yeah, I watched this whole story. What's the takeaway, right? So the takeaway is that Rockstar Games cares about the players. So the last section is a bit more personal. Like for the client, I didn't want the client to just recite news and become a straight up news channel. I wanted the personality to come out, the thoughts, the opinions and stuff like that, right? So people can actually attach themselves to this client instead of just feeling like another random gaming page, right? So I think we can all agree the company should take a page out of Rockstar's book, yada, yada, yada. Activision has a chance to set things right with MW3 because this was actually timed with the release of another game coming out. So everybody was up in the air about like what's going to happen with the next Call of Duty. So we timed this pretty well as well. This client here is a very, very, very good personality. So it's very easy to get people hooked and things like that. But yeah, that was the script real quick. If anybody left, I hate you. Now let's say you've written your script and adjusted it to not have any deadly mistakes. What do you do when you post it? There's so much you can learn from how a video does, whether if it gets 5,000 views or 500,000 views. Regardless, there will only ever be 4 conclusions. And trust me, I've had my fair share of flops and we still get them today, but you gotta learn from them. So the 4 conclusions are, number 1, the idea was bad and nobody cares. Number 2, the idea was good, but the hook didn't effectively communicate it. And number 3, the idea was good, the hook was good, but the way the story was told was boring. Number 4, you made a banger. Okay, great. What now? Actively open a document and write down why the video worked and didn't work. So for the next video, you can avoid what didn't work and double down on what did. The more you accumulate these data points, the less luck has to do with anything. The more you post, the clearer the market gets. The clearer the market gets, the better your idea selection gets. And the better your idea selection gets, the better they perform. Don't get discouraged in this content game. Nobody is perfect and we're all just students of the game. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.